Let's talk about the biblical foundation. The Bible says in Proverbs 13, verse 22, that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children, or for his children, as the case may be. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children. I know that some of us here may not have inherited anything from our parents because they were not business people. But today, you have been able to carve a niche for yourself. You now have a business. That business you have is a family business. That business you have, I believe you have intention to hand it over to your children. That is why we are talking about this. Because you did not just do that business to enjoy it alone and just end it with you. A lot of businesses end like that, but that is not the plan. Many people, I believe, want that business to continue. We have a lot of businesses like that have continued over the years. If I mention them, you will know what I'm talking about. I will do that soon. Well, what is a family business? A family business is a business that is owned and managed by a family member, by somebody and his family. A family business is managed, owned by a family member. That is, people of the same family own that business. It could be the man, he put his wife, he put his children as directors, and they own the business. This family business is influenced by family values. The family business is influenced by family values, in the sense that if a Christian owns the business, of course, there will be values like integrity, honesty, giving people value for their money and all that. And then if an unbeliever owns this business, there will also be need for them to cut corners and do all the nonsense things that they used to do. So for us as Christians, the sustainability of our business depends on our Christian values, which are integrity, honesty, giving people value for their money. There is nothing like a customer going home happy and telling others, if you want this thing, go to so and so place. There is no other marketing strategy that is better than that. It is the best advertisement anybody can get. So that is family business. And then another part of it is that it is passed from generation to generation. That's one thing about family business. It is passed from generation to generation. And these businesses are not far-fetched. I will give us examples outside the country. I will also mention examples within Port Harcourt here that some of us can relate to. One of such businesses is Hens. We have seen Hens baked beans, Hens salad, Hens products. Am I right? Hens products. That business started in the 16th century. 16 something, very, very old. It has passed through several generations, but it is still very good. It is still going on very well. We have also heard about coca oats. A lot of us, when we pass 40 and above, they say oats is good for us. Coca oats, it is also a very old family business that has survived over the years, passed over many generations to where we are today. So these kind of businesses are common among SMEs. What do we mean by SMEs? Small and medium scale businesses. These family businesses are mostly located around there. Only very few are outside it. Now in Port Harcourt here, there used to be this school. I don't know how many of us have heard about it. Stepping Stone. It's a school owned by one Mrs. Peterside. She was a teacher in the Port Harcourt Primary, and then later started her own school. It was one of the first private schools that started in Port Harcourt. It's in D-Line, Okomoko Street. I'm talking about it because my children went there. That woman is no longer there, but her children have taken over the business and have continued. There are several other businesses like that that we know, whose owners started it, but today they are being manned by their children. So it is something that is possible if it is well planned and arranged. Now, what is succession planning? Succession planning is a strategy for transferring leadership and ownership. Succession planning is a strategy, to transfer ownership and leadership of the organization to the next generation. It ensures continuity of the business. Succession planning ensures continuity of the business, because if you plan it well and you transit and give it to the next person to continue, that business will continue. And you will hear about it, like we hear about hens beans, we hear about cocoa oats today. So what happens? You prepare the next generation of leaders. Succession planning enables you to prepare for the next generation of leaders. So you don't just do business and then, just like that. You take example from the kings and princes. You see how they send their children to go and study abroad or something, and then they come back and they hand over the royal throne to them. That is succession planning. They plan about it. Some of these royal families also have businesses that keep them going. All those are businesses they plan for their children to take over from them. So the prince is always well groomed to ensure that he comes back and is fit and proper to take over both the throne and the businesses. That is succession planning. It is happening in our very eyes. We see it. And then it protects the family legacy. Succession planning protects the family legacy in the sense that you don't just, leave things anyhow, and then somebody comes tomorrow, maybe a servant that was working for you takes over the business because nobody has the eye, nobody knows about what is happening, and then a servant that has been working with you takes it over. It doesn't happen that way. It shouldn't be. So Proverbs 21 verse 5, it says, plan carefully and you will have plenty. Plan carefully and you will have plenty. Proverbs 21 verse 5. Now, the importance of succession planning. Why is succession planning important? Apart from what I've talked about, it ensures business survival beyond the founder. Succession planning ensures business survival beyond the founder. It protects family wealth and investments. Family wealth and investments are protected. It also reduces leadership uncertainty. Leadership uncertainty, it reduces it. It strengthens long-term stability in the sense that financially and otherwise that family is stable because they have a regular source of income. Imagine a family having, alerts on a daily basis because of businesses they are doing. Of course, they will not lack. They will be able to train their children. They will be able to take care of all that they need to do. Now, importance of succession plan is what we have said. Proverbs 16 verse 9. A man's heart plans his way, but God establishes his steps. A man's heart plans his way, but God establishes his steps. The father of the family will think about it. This is my business. He may have 3 or 4 sons. Whom am I going to give it to? He plans. And then, he begins to think about it and all that. And then God takes it over from there. A man like that will pray and put it in God's hands. I will give us an example before I leave. Benefits for the family. What are the benefits that a family gets when they do succession planning? Number 1, it reduces conflict. Because from day one, everybody in the family knows that Mr. A is going to take over from daddy. And when he does, he will carry all of us along. Most times, the parents, groom the children to be such that whoever is taking over must be generous. It should not be a stingy person that will not allow others to benefit. Or there should be a written down agreement or something that should be followed in terms of sharing, whatever comes out of that business. So with that, the father can be rest assured that things like that, will not cause trouble. So it reduces conflict and responsibilities. When that succession planning is put in place, it clarifies expectations and responsibilities. You don't expect the lastborn to do what the firstborn is supposed to do. You don't also expect, the responsibilities of the firstborn to be rested on the lastborn, except, there is something else that happened. But if not, if it is well planned, everybody knows what he or she is supposed to do. There is a structure. In the business, one person is supposed to do an aspect, the other person may be asked to do the other aspect, like that. So all hands will be on deck, working towards the goal of the business, of making profit and ensuring that the family has enough to take care of everybody. It also builds trust. Trust in the sense that one person does not take decision. The leader, the person that is in charge, that takes over from the father, will ensure he carries others along. Whatever decision he wants to take. For example, he wants to diversify the business to go into any other area, any new area that is coming up. He does not just get up one morning and go to do it. He has to call others as stakeholders. They discuss about it. He tells them the benefits of going into those areas and what the company stands to gain. It also promotes unity and shared vision. Succession planning promotes unity and shared vision. Everybody have a vision of the business, what they want it to be, and they are working together to achieve it. Matthew 12:25, it says, a house divided against itself will fall. It cannot stand. And so they have to work together to make sure that the business, continues and stands. So whatever one is doing, you don't do it selfishly and say, no, it is only me. No, you should not give them reason to suspect that only one family will be doing well and the siblings, their families are not doing well. No, that is error. It should be such that the wealth or whatever is shared across. Everybody has a bit of it and they are all happy working together towards the goals of the organization. Common challenges. What are the challenges? Of course, no good thing comes easy. Every good thing, there must be challenges. There are always advantages and disadvantages. So let's talk about the challenges that can be experienced in succession planning. Number one is choosing the right successor. Choosing the right successor. You will agree with me that it is not always the case that the first son must have everything it takes to stand in the gap. We have had cases or seen cases where the first son, is not what he should be. And so the father looks towards the second son, towards the third son to hand over his business to. True or false? So it's not a given that he will just say that my senior brother then, or the first son is there and he will always do it. Except he's calm and calculated and has what it takes to step in. If not, a father that has suffered to build a business like that will not give it to somebody that is into drugs or is into, one thing or the other. No. So he must first of all choose the right successor. Who is the person who has what it takes? Looking at the children, you'll be able to identify and know who has what it takes to step into his shoes. Then you also balance competence and family relationship. You balance competence and family relationship. You don't just say, because this thing is like this, so it must be like this. No. Does he have what it takes? Is he competent? Because if you give the business to somebody that is not competent, he will not be able to handle it. Look at what happened to Diamond Bank. We know the story, right? Pascal handed over to his son, and what did he do? A lot of things went wrong. A business that was so strong and was so good, at the end of the day, they were bought by, is it Access also? Access bought them. But if it was properly done, that is where we see how succession planning failed. Because the man did everything and handed over to his son, but he was not well groomed. He didn't have what it takes. The competence was lacking. And so things began to go down. And people said, no, this shouldn't be. So they bought over the business, and today they are doing well. They are under Access because, of what happened. By right, they are older and better than that they should have been the people taking over Access. But it happened the other way around, just because of failed succession planning. Now, we also have poor communication about future plans. If the father does not communicate well about future plans to all his children and tell them how, things are going to be, it can cause problems. It can cause problems. So these are challenges. When you are doing something, you let everybody know his portion in that thing you are doing, so that everybody has something to look up to. But every day, Papa is holding meeting with first son, second and third son. Every other person is left outside. That is poor communication. Lopsided, communication. At the end of the day, they could plan and do everything. But if all these other 2 or 3 people also gang up their own against them, there will be problem. Right? So to avoid a scenario like that, there should be proper communication. You know that, put all of them together, call all of them together as a father. This business, it will go from generation to generation. I'm old, I'm over 70 and all that. And so I want to ensure somebody takes over, I watch and then see how things are happening. All of them should be part of it. Your brother, this is that. He's going to be this. You will be this, you will do this, you will do that. Everybody has a part to play. Proper communication. Everybody is well communicated and they will fly with it. Then resistance to change by founders. That's another problem that can arise in succession planning. What do we mean by that? It's a situation where you have handed over, but you are still in charge in one way or the other. You understand what I mean? Somebody has handed over. Allow the person you have handed over to do whatever he's doing. Make his mistakes, get corrected and all that. But no, you want to still be, poking in day to day and all that. You can cause problem. And you do not allow the person to, express himself in that business and take it to the next level. Because as per children, they should be able to do better than their parents. Because of the knowledge they have, because of technology and everything that they are good at. So that is it. So when somebody hands over and is still holding with one hand and still doing like this, there will be problem in that succession planning. Then other problems that can also be in succession planning is family conflicts. If there is rivalry, mostly in polygamous homes, where children are not from the same mother, if the situation is not properly handled. These days, even children from the same parents have serious rivalry problems. If the parents don't intervene and nip it in the bud, it can lead to something very serious and very bad. So another thing is perceived favoritism. At this point, we as Christians should be able to, come out of Jacob's mistake. Jacob's mistake of favoring Joseph and ignoring all the others and making it possible for them to gang up against him and hate him. We should be able to love all our children equally so that there will be no room for such. Because if it is noticed and people notice that daddy likes our senior brother more than every one of us, problem has started. Before you know it, they will gang up and something will happen. So if you are loving your children, love all of them equally as much as possible. What you cannot do for all, don't do for one. Because if you do for one and you stop there and you don't do for others, it can be a basis for saying that you favor that person and you do not favor the other people. So all that should be taken care of. Then lack of preparation of successors. You don't just say, and I ain't go take over now, no problem, make him just stay. You have to send him to be trained. Those that take over even the royal thrones are sent abroad and told to study particular courses that will enable them stay on the throne and do well. So that child should be trained. Know the courses he will do and that he will be able to use to help your business grow. So there should be training, proper preparation for the successor. Different visions of the future. Different visions of the future. These visions have to be harmonized. You can put them together and say, okay, what is your dream about this business? This person will talk to this side, the other person will talk to the other side. You should be able to harmonize it so that all of them will talk about. Most times we know that the main reason for businesses is profit. But there are other reasons why businesses are there. Satisfying your customers, making them happy, and ensuring that you also give back to society. Today, we are no longer talking about just declaring big profit. There is also what we call ESG. The environment. E stands for the environment. What are you doing about the environment? Is your business impacting the environment negatively? If you declare billions of profit and you are polluting the environment, your business is nowhere, globally. They will look at you as not doing the right thing. You should be able to mitigate that pollution and ensure that the environment is safe. Another thing is society. What are you doing about the society where your business is situated and you're making your your profits? We refer to it as a community social responsibility. There should be something in that direction, giving back to society. You could give scholarship to people from that area, give them water, you could give them, anything at all, lights or whatever that you can afford. Carry them along. That is giving back to the society. And then the G stands for government, ESG. G stands for government. Are you paying your taxes as at when due? Taxes should be paid as at when due, which is very, very important. So ESG should be added to the profit that one is wanting to make. So for the children and this rivalry thing, what I normally preach to my children is, do to your brother, to your sister, what you will want him to do to you. It's in the Bible, Mark 12:31. Love your neighbor as yourself. Because if that is well grounded in them as children, whatever they want to do, they will think twice. In fact, now the thing has been taken a little bit up. The commandment for Christians now is not just love others as you love yourself, because some of us don't love ourselves. So Jesus said, love your neighbor as I have loved you. That is the higher step now. Jesus loved us to the point of sacrificing his life for us. So if you say you love your neighbor as you love yourself, some even to buy good clothes and wear, it's a problem. They don't love themselves. So why should they love the other person? But if you are a Christian, you are expected now to love your neighbor as Jesus loved you. We all know and we have experienced the love of God. So that is how we are expected to love our neighbors. Praise the Lord. Now, let's talk about succession planning process. The process. What is this process? Succession planning process. How is it done? Number one, you start early. You start early. Not when somebody is sick. You may not announce it, but from day one, we have started checking among your children who you should groom, and you start early to plan. Because we all know nobody is going to be here forever. Nobody, if you like, take the highest medicine. The person that even did that medicine self don't die. So you that is taking it now, sorry for you. Even the native doctor that did your work for people, they again. Sometimes you go and ask for him, they tell you that the man has died. He died there last week. We hear it. So there is nothing like I'm going to be here now and the time never reach. I'm going to be. Nobody knows the day, the time, and where he or she will die. Nobody. So start early. Number two, define roles. This thing, not be one person will do all. Which one will this one do? If you look at your children, you will know what each person is suited for. There are the ones that we normally say we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. So each of them has their roles they can play properly. So you did look at them and you say, okay, this one will do this one will do this. You define the roles. Then you develop the plan. As a father that owns the business, you develop the plan. And then after developing it, you communicate clearly. You gather them for the meeting and you communicate clearly. So this is my plan. This is how I want it. This is what you will do. This is what you will do. Everybody has a part to play. They will all be comfortable and say, thank you, Daddy. We will do as we have said. They will help one another to do it. Then, under succession planning process, the last one is seek advice. Where you are confused, it is important for you to seek advice. So this thing, how we could do them, there are always people that know it better than you. None of us here know it all. Even me, I'm still learning. All of us, we should still be learning. They say the day you stop learning, you start dying. So if you know somebody knows something better than you in one area, don't feel anyhow. Go to that person, get the advice. Use it to better your business. Now, developing future leaders. How do we develop future leaders? You mentor the next generation. Let's look at 2 Timothy 2 verse 2. 2 Timothy 2 verse 2. If somebody is there, the person should read for us. 2 Timothy 2 verse 2. Can somebody project it? 2 Timothy 2 verse 2. I want us to read it. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Let's talk about mentorship. Mentor the next generation. Hand over whatever it is to people that are capable, that have what it takes, and tell them that it should not end with them. They should have the capacity to also hand over to competent people after them. Now, provide education and training. I've said about that earlier. Provide education and training. Let the people you are going to be handing over to be trained. You don't hand over to ignorant people. Have you noticed that dealing in anything at all with illiterates is more difficult than dealing with educated people? True or false? Because they will always misunderstand you. This thing when they do like this, who know whether not like this thing want to or like that. But the educated person will understand you better. So educate the children to be able to, take over. Allow gradual leadership exposure. What do we mean? From time to time, give them leadership role to play and see how they come out. Gradual process. The person you want to lead tomorrow, start giving him some leadership assignments to do and see how it turns out, so that you'll be able to know whether he has what it takes to lead in the future. Then encourage responsibility and accountability. Encourage responsibility and accountability. Very important. Let these children, the person you want, let the person be responsible, let him be accountable. It should be somebody you should be able to ask, this thing, how you do it? What happened here? And the person should be able to give account. Very, very important. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2, it says it is required that those who have been trusted, should be able to give account. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. So accountability and responsibility is very, very key. It's very important. The Bible says in Proverbs 22 verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's grown, he will not depart from it. Now, best practices. What are the best practices for this succession planning? Number one, choose leaders based on competence. Not because they became fine, or is from my favorite wife or whatever. Choose based on competence. Does he have what it takes? The capacity, does he have it? Choose leaders based on competence. Number two, document the succession plan. After discussing with them, document it so that tomorrow somebody will not come and say something that was not said. See the paper. Now so daddy talk, I'm see. When they know something is documented, they will not raise problems at all. Any person that is dubious, when you tell the person put it in writing, the person dodges, because the person knows that paper will not lie. The paper will stand out. So that documentation is important. Then number three, create governance structure. Governance structure in the sense that whoever is leading should be accountable to some people. There should be a board, so to say. Just like they have boards in a government, you should have board in the sense that the surviving elders in the family, even though Mr. A is leading, all the other surviving elders, you should be able to come and give them account from time to time. So they could be able to call him and ask him, what really happened? At the end of the year, you should be giving them dividends. And if there is any shortfall in the dividends, he should be called to explain. So when he knows that there are people he's accountable to, he will be able to, behave better. Then review and update the plan regularly. Review and update the plan regularly. That plan you have drawn, review and update it regularly. Seek wise counsel. Seek wise counsel. What do we mean? There are business advisors, people that can advise better on business. Seek them. Get their advice when it's necessary. Then there's also legal and financial professionals. We have legal and financial professionals. When the need arises, seek their input. It will help. Then we also have spiritual mentors and church leaders. Your pastor, I don't know how God did it, but it's such that there is hardly any topic you take to a pastor to discuss and he will not have words to tell you. God has so blessed and, prepared his ministers. I'm so proud of them. So go for counseling. The ministers are there. They will guide you in any area at all. And then they will be able to tell you what God says concerning that particular issue. It's very important. Trusted elders and experienced entrepreneurs. You can also meet trusted elders and experienced entrepreneurs. When you are doing this, they will be able to help you and guide you. Then we should not forget the God factor. The God factor. The Bible says in Psalm 121 verse 1. Psalm 121 verse 1. It says, except the Lord build the house, the builder builds in vain. So in all of this, Psalm 127 verse 1, not 121, 127 verse 1, whatever we are doing, we should anchor it on the Lord, because without him, there is nothing we can do. So whatever it is you are planning, pray and put it before God and says, this is this and this. Then God will establish what you have planned. Wise counsel. With wise counsel, you will succeed. Proverbs 15 verse 22. Proverbs 15:22. With wise counsel, you can succeed. So always get wise counsel. We are also told locally that somebody that asks questions will never miss road. So if you know people that knows the road, it's better for you to ask questions so that you will not miss the road. What are our key takeaways in this lecture? Number 1, succession planning secures family legacy. These are tips I want you to go home with. Succession planning secures family legacy. That is why it is important. Number 2, preparation must start early. You don't start when the person don't, near grave. No, let it be early. Communication is essential. Like I said, it will settle so many trouble. When all of them hear directly from daddy, this is what daddy said, this is what you will do, this is what you will do. Everybody knows the part he or she is going to play. That communication will settle a lot of things. And then wisdom and counsel are very important. Of course, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, which is very important. Before we conclude, I know we still have up to 10 minutes by God's grace. I want to ask, do you have a plan for transferring leadership or assets? Do you have a plan for transferring leadership or assets? There are biblical principles that will help. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 9, it says business ethics. You must apply honesty and integrity in your business that you want to hand over. Philippians 2:3-4, you lead with humility. Philippians 2:3-4, you lead with humility. And then Proverbs 21 verse 5, you have to be wise and responsible. Wise and responsible. Before I go, let me give us a practical example that is based on scripture so that everybody will really understand better what we are talking about. Let's take, for example, Mr. John owns a business. He's a business owner and he wants to pass his company to his son. His son's name is Michael. What should he do? To ensure continuity of the business and the growth of the business, John, the owner of the business, wants to hand over the business to Michael, his son. Proverbs 16 verse 9, a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. He has the plan, but it is God that will establish his steps. John plans the succession with prayer, seeking God's face for guidance. He has to start the whole process with prayer, seeking God's, guidance. Number 2, Proverbs 21 verse 5, the plans of the diligent lead to profit, and surely as haste leads to poverty. John diligently prepares Michael for leadership, focusing on competence, ensuring that the boy is becoming competent of what he's doing. You prepare him diligently. Diligently prepares Michael for leadership, focusing on competence, ensuring he reads the necessary course he's supposed to read and does what he's supposed to do. Like there are some courses, if the father is an engineer and he has an engineering business, of course, it will be better for him to go and read engineering to continue. If it is just ordinary business, the person can go and read business administration and all that. But depending on the kind of business, he needs to know much more about that business before he can take leadership of that business. The number 3 thing that should be done is a good man. Proverbs 13:22. Proverbs 13:22. It says, a good man leaves inheritance to his children's children. John ensures that the business benefits future generations. You don't hand over and let only the first son have everything. You know, some families where they say, and I am the first son, so everything the father owns is him. Then he will come and be giving small to the others. I reject it in Jesus' name. He didn't work for it. It was given to him by their father. Why should he not take like that? Imagine a father has 30 rooms. Then because he's the first son, he takes the 30 rooms. And then he's giving his younger ones one room. Is it his money? Is it his house? No. It should not be. The sharing should be proper so that everybody will be comfortable. Because that is the only way to take away rivalry in the family, to take away problem in the family. Because when you begin to do things like that, the other people will start strategize for you. There are other areas you won't be able to handle. So it's better that the man shares it, very well as it should be. Then 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. John and Michael need to sit down and commit to being faithful stewards. That is to say, he will sit Michael down. John will sit his son Michael down and tell him that, see, you have to be accountable and responsible. You have to be faithful in everything you are doing. Tell him the importance of that. Give him the pitfalls. Anybody that refuses to be accountable and responsible, where the person will end, you show it to him so that he'll be able to sit down and say, okay, Daddy, I understand, I agree. And then he knows the importance and the reason why he should be accountable and responsible. Now, let's look at Genesis 25, 5-6. Genesis 25, 5-6. Abraham's succession plan for Isaac and Ishmael. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. Go to verse 6. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. So he shared the things by himself. We know the special case that Isaac was supposed to be the heir and all that. But he didn't leave others like that. And it was not also Isaac that was sharing that gifts to them. It is their father that was sharing that thing to them. So it's better and safer that way than that at the end of the day, it is the Isaac that is now giving them peanuts. No. So a man should plan and arrange so that, there should be distribution of assets, to bless other members of the family. You should be able to distribute the assets in such a way that you bless other members of the family. Like if it is a family business that has been established, you say that at the end of the day, the profits of each year should be shared according to this percentage to each of them, so that everybody knows what he or she is supposed to expect. Action steps. John mentors Michael in business leadership. 2, he develops a clear succession timeline. Tell him that this thing, I'm telling you to open your eyes. In the next this, you're going to take over. Like there's a timeline. It's not just there forever. And then you seek wise counsel from mentors and advisors. So this is how succession planning should be done. And everybody here should have a business, think of what to hand over to generations to come. I don't know if you have any questions. We have like 3 more minutes to go. Yes, please. Can you give him a microphone to ask? Please give him microphone yes. Give them microphone so that they can ask their questions. So that everybody will hear their question as they're asking it.
God bless you, Prophet, from the business. You have not mentioned about the male child, or female child, excuse me. In some families, female children are not part of the sharing. What can you say about that?
Are you living? You are talking from the past, because even in Rivers State there is a law that says that the girl child should inherit her father's property. A law that is passed. So the fact that she married or she's still a child of that man, so you can't erase that. Thank you.
Question comes. What's the distinction between succession plan and will?
Yes. Succession planner of business that wants to hand over the business to the next generation. That is succession planning. Will is a person, the person may be a salaried man, staff, and then working in any company. He can write a will for his property. But succession planning is somebody that is handing over a business to the next generation. So there are two different things.
Yeah, but can this succession plan be included in a will?
No, they stand on their own differently. They stand on their own, except in the will, it may say that, okay, this business should be run by this or that, and then you begin to say all those things in the will.
Okay.
But succession planning as it is should be properly done and documented on its own.
Okay, the last question, Prof.
Go ahead.
The succession plan and strict settlement, what are the differences?
Strict settlement is like what Abraham did in Genesis 25. Back for one thing or the other. That's a different thing. Succession planning is when you have an ongoing business. Where when you are passing in that place, you say, "Now my papa get this business," but you are not seeing cover from it. It's painful. But if there was strict settlement, it says, okay, this business, leave it for Mr. A. You take this, you take that. Strict settlement. But if it is not like that, that business, as long as it lives, it should benefit all the people from that lineage. Any other questions from here? Please give to this person here.
When you have processed your plan to hand over whatever you have to your children, at what point do you involve your wife? Do you involve your wife in these things?
Are you different from your wife? Because you will be telling us how you treat your wife.
I am asking because some people don't involve your wife in their business.
Very, very wrong. You and your wife are one. Why should it be in that one that she's not part of it? Yes, give to the...
I'm blessed, man. Please, my question is this. Granted that every business requires skills and understanding, and you discover that among your children, the business you have established, one of your children, one or two or three of them, has their own special interest. Yes, ma'am. Like I was saying, I said every business requires skills and understanding. And peradventure you have two or three children, and three of them seems not to maybe toe the same line of that business you have. What is your advice, ma'am, in order to make sure that that business is sustained?
You look for a relation or somebody that you because there are families like that. Thank you very much for the time.
Can we put our hands